Denise. Denise. It's Denise. It's Denise. It's Denise. It's Denise. It's a podcast party. It's a podcast party. It's a podcast party.
I gotta say, I feel like we're besties now after this. What's up, guys? It's Denise Salcedo. Hey there, everyone. What's up? Oh my gosh, I forgot to put the mic in my face. Hey there, everyone. Welcome to the channel. We're here to talk about NXT October 25th, and this is the fallout from NXT Halloween Havoc. So we actually had a pretty noteworthy show to talk about in terms of NXT. We got a couple of surprises, which I can't wait to get into. We also got the introduction to some possible new faces that we're going to be seeing kind of soon, and just a pretty good, actually a better than pretty good main event. We got a pretty damn solid main event with a very interesting ending that left me having a theory as to what may or may not be happening. So we'll make sure to get into all of that in just a hot second. Now, heads up to everybody, if you're coming in here and you're like, things look a little bit different. So last night, at around midnight, I decided to change up my entire studio and swap everything. So I know you guys won't know this, but this is actually an entire new wall from where I've been for like the last year. So this is an entirely new wall. Things are on opposite sides now, I think. Microphones on opposite sides. So everything's just different. So it's kind of throwing me off a little bit. But either way, just a little fun fact that this is not the same setup that it's the same decor, but it's not the same setup of where it was before. So just a little fun fact there. But before we get into everything here today, just a heads up to everyone, if you haven't already, please make sure to click that subscribe button and join up F4W Online. We are so freaking close to 100,000 subscribers. It ain't even funny. We're like licking it at this point. We're almost there. So make sure you guys subscribe. On top of that, if you want to help support the show, as always, you are more than welcome to send in a super chat. Those help not only get your opinion read here on the show, but it also helps keep me funded and all of that good stuff. Matt Hensley says, now that you've pointed out the wall, that's all I can look at. I know, and I haven't even, all the wrestlers, if you notice, are missing because I haven't put them up yet. I just haven't had the time to actually put the wrestlers that were up there before behind the belts. They're not there anymore. They're thrown in the corner. They haven't gone up yet. But you know what? I actually will give you guys a quick little scoop, a bonus for the Tuesday show here. So if you actually turn to this direction over here, that is, as this is furthest I can turn this computer, that is my Taylor Swift section. That was not, that was next to me last time on the opposite direction. And then if you turn it all the way, oh, I can't turn it that much anymore. But if I turn it all the way over there, it is just my door. So it is totally different now than what it was before. Crazy, huh? When you think about it, because you only ever see a certain portion of the show. So there you go. Christopher Strikeleather says the wrestlers got demoted to the floor. They did. I just didn't have time last night. It was not going to happen. It took me forever just to swap back, just to get this stuff even remotely set up there. All right, there we go. Now I can get the show started. All right, everyone. Let's get it going. The fallout to NXT Halloween Havoc. What the hell happened on this show? So we had a pretty good show. I thought today was a good follow-up to Halloween Havoc. Also, another quick thank you to Sam Roberts, who did do the Halloween Havoc post show with me. And he did that with me on my channel. Still very thankful for that. If you tuned in for that, thank you so much, because, just getting more views for those shows means I can get bigger and bigger guests as I continue on. So we opened up the show today. We had 2 tag team title matches. Both tag teams didn't have a tag team title match or defend their championship belts at all on Halloween Havoc. So instead, they had them they both competed here tonight. And I'm glad, because for the most part, we need to see more competition in the tag title division, especially for the women, and that's going to play a huge part in how I felt about this matchup here tonight. So we opened up the show with Nikita Lyons and Zoe Stark taking on Kaden and Katana for the NXT tag team titles. Now, I will say this. I thought that so first and foremost, I started going back and I'm like, man, how, because, you know, we saw them become champions, right? Katana and Kaden, I kind of felt like they're when I try to go back and think about them and their history as champions, there isn't very much to really remember. So I had to go back and even see when is the last time they actually even defended the titles that we saw on TV. And the last time was Worlds Collide. They're not wrestling on the show very often defending the titles. Given that they're your tag team champions, we need to see them a little bit more. And that's the thing, like, they are a pretty damn good tag team. I love seeing them together. I've been a fan of theirs for quite a bit now because they're fun. They've been, I get it. They've been trying out lots of different characters for them, and some things have worked, some things have not really stuck. But in terms of the in-ring, in the in-ring side of things for them as a tag team, really, really works. They're fun, they're exciting, and you pop for the things that they do. So in-ring wise, I feel like they got it down and they're only going to keep, getting better and better, right? In terms of character, I think that's the one thing that is still keeping them from, taking things to the next level, right? They need to give them more of a character, right? More personality, and then also just keep showcasing them on TV because it is so easy to forget that they are even your women's tag team champions. And you don't want that. Like, you don't want to forget who your tag team champions are. And there's been times where I've forgotten. I'm like, oh yeah, they're the tag team champions. Damn. Oh shit. Like, remember that, Denise. So anyways, going into this match, when the first half I thought was okay, I thought it was whatever. So it was just a match to me. But when they had Nikita and Zoe win the first match, I thought, oh, okay, you know what? I'm not surprised whatsoever that they would give the championship belts to them. It feels like what they would do because I kind of felt because they hadn't showcased Kaden and Katana that they would just take away the titles from them. So I was like, okay, well, that's kind of expected based on them not really showing them much. But then when they did the whole thing about the tag not being an actual tag and then having to restart the match, I'm so glad that they did this because I actually ended up loving the second portion of this match. This second portion of the match was everything. It was exciting. You saw some really great stuff. You saw Katana hit the Spanish Fly on Zoe Stark. She goes for the pin. It's a 2 count. And that moment kind of felt like pretty big because you thought for a second, oh man, they restarted the match. They got this big spot. And here's this, she's going for the pin. And is it going to be it? No, it's not. I thought that was a really good moment for this match. Afterwards, we did have a couple of more moments where you thought, oh, this is going to be it. There was a moment where Nikita hit her spinning heel kick, and then she did her little finisher with the splits and what she does and whatnot. And I thought, okay, this is going to be the end of the match. She's going to win here. And instead, Katana broke it up. So they kind of kept things a little bit more. They spiced things up in the latter portion of this match, which to me just made it so much better. Katana ends up hitting her 630. She gets the win for her team. And I'm so glad that they didn't take the belts off of them because, like I said, they're a good team. They're an exciting team. I like them more as a team than I do Nikita and Zoe. I like Zoe more so as a singles competitor, and I also kind of like Nikita more so as a singles competitor. But in terms of an actual tag team, I prefer Kaden and Katana together as a solid tag team. They just feel more, I don't know how to explain it. They just feel more cohesive together. They go well. And so I'm so glad that they didn't take the titles away from them, but please just keep putting them on TV. Let's not keep forgetting that they're even our tag team champions. So that's where I'm at on that. But let's get some thoughts in here and see what people are saying. Hackman MN says, I haven't watched the video instead of just audio for a while, but it's weirdly unsettling to see the mic on the right side of the screen instead of the left side. Bro, how do you think I feel? I am so used to being like this. At the top of this stream, I forgot to move the microphone to my face. That's embarrassing. But don't worry. This is, oh my God, this is Denise Salcedo 2.0. All right, let's see what else we got here. Mohamed putting over that Spanish fly, saying it was awesome. And yeah, it was pretty awesome for sure. Fernando Zaya sends in his thoughts, saying the tag team championship match to open up the show was amazing. Kaden and Katana are excellent. Tag team, definitely my favorite in the women's division. Yeah, they're a great tag team, man. They really are. But they definitely need more women's tag teams for sure, because I can't even think of a tag team besides them for the women on NXT. All right. Like, besides Gigi and JC, I can't even think of another tag team, which is terrible, but whatever. That's kind of where we're at there. All right. Moving on from here. So, T-Bar, Dominic Dijakovic, former Dominic Dijakovic, and then T-Bar with Retribution, is now getting a character change. And I'm not sure. Okay, so we got 2 teases today of characters incoming. I'm not sure if they're tied in together. I don't think they're tied in together. I think these are 2 separate ones, but just in case, I'll mention them side by side. So we had a quick little vignette where we're seeing the mask that T-Bar wore get burned to the flames. And it's the voiceover says, the second coming isn't about retribution. It's about justice. And then you see the mask burning in the flames, and that's pretty much it. So, I'm excited to see what he'll do on NXT, and I don't know if it ties into something else that we got later on the show. So later on in the show, there was another tease for either, I don't know if this is a person, if this is a stable, I have no idea. But basically what they did is they showed this graphic on the screen, kind of like what you would see on the news when they play like a voice recording, when they call the police or something like that, and then they put the font and all of that. Well, they did something similar to that on NXT, and basically this person calls in and leaves a voice recording, and it leaves a long message, but the gist of it was, watch as I come and leave my mark as I plan to rip all of NXT apart. So it seems like it may just be a one person, since he's speaking when he keeps saying, I watch as I come and leave my mark as I plan to rip all of NXT apart. And then it's signed Sincerely Scripps, which, now that I think about it, it shouldn't be signed Sincerely Scripps if it's a voice message. I've never said Sincerely Denise Salcedo on a voicemail. That's a little weird now that I think about it. All right, but whatever. So Scripps is coming along. I do not know if Scripps is its own thing or if it's tied into what T-Bar may be doing now. I don't know if these are together or separate. I do think they're separate, but just in case they're not, I might as well throw them in together. So either way, I mean, for the most part, there have been certain people that, didn't get a real shot on the main roster, or things didn't really go for them as well on the main roster. Apollo Crews is a good example of, being caught up with a hokey gimmick on the main roster. And now he's, for the most part, doing something a little bit more, that's showing a little bit more of his depth, a little bit more of his range on NXT. So that was one thing that I think is definitely a positive for Apollo Crews. Same thing for Mandy Rose. Look at Mandy. I mean, when she ended up becoming such a big part of this new era of NXT, when you think of this new era of NXT, one of the names that's going to pop out at you is Mandy Rose, because you saw so much of her. So for the most part, I feel like people that have not gotten a chance to thrive on the main roster, if they go over to NXT, I feel like for the most part, it's been a little bit better. So we'll see what happens with T-Bar and his new character, and whether or not he scripts or not. So we got a couple of people saying that they think it's a new faction. I don't know. Major Blood says it feels like it should be a stable, though. Scripps is a weird name for a single person, even a code name. That was the same line of thinking that I had. That was my exact same reaction, because everything that was said was, you would think it'd be one person, but the name itself, Scripps, doesn't sound like it would be one person's name. It sounds like it'd be a stable. But we have some people like Ed Jones here points out that there's already a bunch of factions in NXT. Well, I mean, there's the Schism. Because Legado del Fantasma, like, they're gone. They're, off doing their own thing. Hit Row was such a long time ago. We have obviously we have a couple more pairings and whatnot, but in terms of like really large groups, who else am I forgetting? I'm pretty sure I'm forgetting somebody right now, and it's just not popping out at me. But I don't think it's I don't think it's too much. I think if they were to incorporate another, oh, see, the Diamond Mine is another one, but the Diamond Mine, like, I've been so ready for them to like not be a thing anymore. I'm sorry, but I just want to see the Creed brothers by themselves, Damon Kemp by himself, or even Damon. Well, obviously now they're feuding, so that's not going to be a thing with Damon Kemp and Creed brothers because they're feuding now. But still, the point that I'm trying to get at is if they were to add another faction with scripts, I don't think that it would be a bad thing for the show. All right. Oh, I forgot about Chase U. I don't get. I guess. I mean, they're a whole ass university. Oh man, I don't even. I'm sorry. The Chase U stuff. That's where I'm like, peace. I'm gonna go look at something else. All right. Let's continue on from here. Let's get into Wesley. So Wesley became NXT North American champion by winning the ladder match at Halloween Havoc. So this is it, guys. You know, how many times, God, I was already sounding like a broken radio. How many times haven't I came onto this podcast and said, there's nothing going on with Wesley. They don't know what to do with him. The character seems to be all over the place. 1 minute he's the Tropics dude. 1 minute he's the heartbroken dude. 1 minute this, 1 minute that. They were trying all these different things with Wesley and nothing was sticking. And here's the thing. I'm so happy he's NXT North American champion and all of that. But the one thing that does bum me out is that his lead up to becoming NXT North American champion wasn't anything special. Like, that's the thing that kind of bums me out, though. I really wish that they would have been like building this guy up, having him get like a bunch of wins. I went back and I looked. I went back and I counted. He got like 3 wins, and those 3 wins all happened like within months. Like, I think he was running on like a 2 winning streak or something like that. And that was it. But prior to that, he was pretty much being like losing to people. We were here. I remember talking about this, losing to Zion Quinn, losing to God knows who else. I forget who I was talking about. It's like, I really wish that Wesley's singles run heading into becoming NXT North American champion should have been a lot stronger, because it feels like you're NXT champion, you're NXT North American champion, but you're NXT North American champion because we really liked you and you were with MSK, and that went to the shits. That all exploded. So you know what? We still like you. So here's the belt, and you know what? We're still going to root for you because we liked you in MSK. So it feels like this is him getting the championship because of what he did with MSK. It doesn't feel like him getting the championship because of him by himself and what they've been having him do recently on the roster. So I did wish that the build, rather just like really set him up in a strong way, so that when he won the NXT North American Championship, you could be like, you know what? That was the only answer. But if they, for example, like going into that match, I thought, man, if they have Nathan Frazier win, I could see it happening. If they have Carmelo Hayes win again, sure. Carmelo Hayes, see, there you go. Perfect example. Carmelo Hayes, his lead up to becoming NXT North American champion was good. Like, he won the breakout tournament. They set him up, They set him up, and you knew that this guy was going to be getting gold soon. You didn't really know that for Wesley. Maybe you knew it the night of the show, but prior to that, I don't think many of us were like, oh yeah, in 2 weeks, Wesley is going to be NXT North American champion. No way. If you were watching the show every week, maybe you were hoping for it because you liked the guy, but if you were just basing things off of what we were seeing every week, there was no way many of us were going to be thinking, oh yeah, Wesley's going to be NXT North American champion in 2 weeks. No way. But there you go. Either way, I'm excited to see what he does. This is it. Like, this is his moment. Sink or swim, man. This is going to be, and obviously he's a babyface. He's going out there. He cuts this babyface promo about everybody motivating him. And when he was in the dark, and he was saying that winning gold, winning this championship gives him a sense of validation that he has been looking for his entire career. A really great line, by the way. So good stuff there. The crowd's chanting, "You deserve it." He's happy. He says he's forever grateful. He thanks everybody. And this is the thing. You don't want it to feel like the Liv Morgan situation. So I hope that they start immediately after this. They need to make Wesley like get up on it, really, really level things up. Grayson Waller comes out as Wesley is thanking the people. And he's going on and on about how he hates Halloween and he had a bad day at Halloween Havoc and he should have been the one that won because he did put Apollo Crews through the casket and that he technically won the match. And then he says this was really funny. And I don't think people laughed as hard as I did. But Grayson Waller's like, all you did was climb a ladder. I did that last week at Home Depot. That made me laugh. I'm sorry. I popped for that. So he's, going on about being pissed off about Wesley. R-Truth comes out. We just saw R-Truth this past on last night's Monday Night Raw. He was out there. And now he's on NXT, at least for tonight and for next week as well. So R-Truth comes out and he's dressed as a Joker. And I thought it was Willy Wonka at first because I didn't see the mask and he didn't have like any face paint or anything. So it was just like the purple suit. And I'm like, oh, he's Willy Wonka. He was not Willy Wonka. He was the Joker. So then he goes out there and he's like, putting over Halloween Havoc. And they're like, dude, Halloween Havoc already passed. And he's like, oh, are you guys serious? And they're like, yeah, it already passed. Then he goes on and he starts making a British accent to mock Grayson Waller. But Grayson Waller isn't British. So that was pretty damn funny, actually. So R-Truth, he's gonna go out there and have a good time, make everything light and fun. So it was fun, it was airy, it was good. This is all leading to a match with Grayson Waller and R-Truth, perfectly harmless, and it looks like it's gonna be possibly Grayson Waller and Wesley. Grayson Waller looks to be Wesley's first challenger, soon to be first challenger for the North American Championship, is what I'm assuming they're gonna do there. So this was fun. This was perfectly okay. This was perfectly nice. All right, so let's go ahead and continue on from here. And let's get into Quincy Elliott introducing Shotzi for her match with Lash Legend. All right, so this was there was two things that I didn't like on today's show. And this was one of them. So this was one of the things that I didn't like on today's show. So this was Shotzi versus Lash Legend. Now, for the most part, we've been seeing people come from the main roster over to NXT. And usually it's pretty okay, right? It's fine. It hasn't been like disastrous. There's been some good moments. We saw AJ Styles give Grayson Waller a little bit of the rub. We saw Natalya and Cora Jade, Dolph Ziggler and Braun Breaker. Well, that one had some of us 50-50, me on the not so loving it part. Regardless, it was still, something to look forward to, right? So I'm thinking, all right, fine. Shotzi versus Lash Legend, something to look forward to. I didn't like this match. I thought it was, so they had Lash Legend come out and she was supposed to be, she was kind of dominating, and I'm going to say dominating only in the way that, see, I hate using the word dominating because when you're dominating someone in a match, it's exciting to see, right? You're like seeing this person just like beat the crap out of somebody and you're like, yeah, this is good. She was getting the upper hand most of the time on Shotzi. But it was not exciting. It was just like, this is happening. This was a little dull. So I was not really a fan of this. I actually thought it kind of brought down Shotzi. Shotzi, she's only gotten a couple of moments on the main roster. So I feel like this actually hurt Shotzi going and doing this match and having it be this kind of a match. I was like, man, I wasn't really that big of a fan of this one. I thought it brought Shotzi down. I thought that the match was not good. It was very boring. And I will take not good, but somewhat exciting, No, but this was boring. This was very boring. So on this one, I will definitely have to pass on this one. It was not good. All right, so I'm gonna move on from this one here. We do see Sangha and Veer attack the Creed brothers. Sangha and Veer looking pretty damn looking pretty fly, man. They really look freaking good. Big beefy men, beards, well suited. Damn, man. If I wasn't married, what's up? That'd be me. But anyways, I'm excited for this. I'm totally here for this, man. The Creed, freaking Julius and Damon Kemp had one of the best matches on NXT Halloween Havoc. I would say top 3 for sure of the night. So I just want to see the Creed brothers have as many cool freaking matches that they can with anybody on NXT, anybody that's available on NXT before they eventually get the awesome call up to the main roster. And Sangha and Veer right now need a good program, and the Creed brothers need to move away from all of this Diamond Mine, Roderick Strong's breaking my heart, not breaking my heart, we're friends, we're not friends story. They need to move the hell on. So I'm just freaking excited that we're moving to something different with the Creed brothers and Sangha and Veer. I'm a fan. You know what? I'm really excited about it. Wait, Sheldon Jackson sends in a super chat. Thank you so much to Sheldon, who says, yeah, this match, I knew it was time to go shower and go get something to eat in regards to Shotzi versus Lash Legend. And I hate to say that, guys, because there was a match a couple of weeks ago, maybe even last week or 2 weeks ago, that Lash Legend had that wasn't bad. Like it was fine. It was there. It was fine. And then, Shotzi's been doing her thing on the main roster, right? Or, somewhat. So this really just I didn't think it benefited either of them. That was the problem. It didn't benefit either of them because Lash Legend was supposed to look really, really dominating. Like this was her moment to be looking like Raquel Gonzalez, to be looking like Rhea Ripley. And like that didn't happen. Shotzi, obviously did her part, but it was just, it didn't look good. And it just kind of it just didn't look good. So there you go, man. But Sheldon Jackson, thank you so much for the super chat. It's very much appreciated. All right, so let's get on with the show. We got a quick segment where Gigi, Mandy, and JC, Toxic Attraction, are all FaceTiming each other. Really cute. I like this kind of stuff. They should do this. The Toxic Attraction, they're supposed to be this, they're supposed to be this girl group that is, they do certain things that I like, right? You see them chilling in the VIP lounge. They're out always having a grand time, loving their lives, and they're so fabulous and they're so mean. I like that stuff. So they're just back there, they're FaceTiming, and basically this is all leading to next week. There's going to be a celebration where Mandy is going to celebrate 1 year of being NXT Women's Champion. So harmless, fun. Looking forward to that, man. All right. Before I move on, everybody, just a quick reminder that tomorrow I will be back here on F4W Online to chat about AEW Dynamite. I feel like it's been centuries because last week we were here talking about NXT and AEW. So I'm so happy that the shows I don't ever want to see the shows together on the same night ever again. It's too much. It's too much work. So very happy that AEW is back on Wednesday night tomorrow. So I will be here for that. And then on Friday, I will be here to talk about Smackdown and Rampage. But now let's get into the men's tag team title picture. This was a good match. And this was the match that I think, even though they lost, Malik and Idris, even though they lost, I feel like this is the match that kind of put them on that's kind of putting them on the forefront of the tag team division, or starting to put them in the forefront of the tag team division on NXT, because this was a pretty damn good match. And here's the thing, and I've said this a million times, I liked them both when they were jobbing in the beginning of NXT because they were pretty good jobbers. Like, they went out there and they were just supposed to job to whoever they were putting over for that period of NXT, and they did a good job. It's not often that you see that, right? They were good. And then afterwards, they finally decided to get them, a couple of wins, singles. Okay, fine. And then next thing you know, they're a tag team. And then as a tag team, they're doing tremendous. I've been a fan of theirs from the beginning. I am so glad that they paired them up as a tag team. They have so much potential. They haven't had one bad match. They're developing, and you see it every week. And I am such a big fan of theirs. I'm very excited because I think once they get the branding of the team, because they don't really have like a, I don't really feel like they have an actual branding yet. Like they don't have like a persona for the tag team. Once they give them like a person, like more of a personality, maybe some cool, they need cool newer wardrobe too, like new gear. They need new gear. Once they polish them up and really give them something a little bit more to work with in terms of character wise, I think you're gonna have something really good with them, because they are already getting the in-ring stuff. They go out there and they have some pretty great matches. They're doing great spots out there as well. They get the crowd pops, get them all excited. Nothing we haven't seen before that we saw here tonight, but still mixing it in with Pretty Deadly, it stood out. Like I feel this was almost like a star, somewhat of a star-making performance for them tonight. So I was very happy about that. Obviously, we do. Oh, and they had a lot of near falls that I thought were really great too. There were some really good ones in there that I knew they weren't gonna win, but there was some good ones as well. So shout out to freaking Pretty Deadly and Malik and Idris. That was a good match, and I was also laughing because man, I was so mad the day that Booker T debuted on commentary, and he just decided to not like Malik and Idris for like no reason. I was like, why, bro? Why are you going out there and be like, I don't like these guys? I'm like, bro, why? Why don't you like? They haven't done anything serious for you not to like them. And now Booker T is their biggest fan. He's their biggest fan on the show. So I find it freaking hilarious now that Booker T was like shitting on them in the beginning when he first saw them for no reason, and now he's their biggest fan. So I thought that was pretty funny, and I actually like that Vic Joseph hasn't let that go, because he mentioned it the first time at the end of the show, and then he mentioned it again today, like, oh, all of a sudden you're a fan of Malik and Idris. So that was pretty funny, and I'm glad he hasn't let it go, because bro, he was coming at them. He was like, I don't like these guys, and I'm like, why? They didn't do nothing. They didn't do nothing. Why don't you like them? So anyways, that was pretty funny. It felt like he just wanted to hate on somebody, just didn't know who. So there you go. Good stuff all around. Alrighty, so let's see what we got here. This is from Zeno Hour, who says he disagrees. Blade and Inofi are just missing a brand. Once they get characters, the sky's the limit. Oh, he agrees. Excuse me. I was like, wait, that's exactly what I said. No, completely agree with you too. It's the same thing. Like they got it down. They just need an actual, spice them up a little bit. Give them a little bit pizzazz. Give them some tassels. I don't know, some glitter. I don't know what you're going to give them. Come up with something. I ain't no fashion designer. All right, so moving on from this. This is something that I think everybody's ready to talk about. So the Schism. The Schism has a brand new and unexpected member on their group. It's part of their family now. So when they started basically teasing this person that was helping them out and essentially even set up an attack for Cameron Grimes on behalf of the Schism, I was not expecting Simone Johnson, okay? I had no idea that it was going to be Simone. No idea whatsoever. I was just thinking, oh, it's going to be, I don't know. I didn't have a prediction for who I thought it was going to be. I'm just going to wait and be surprised. And so, we'd been seeing this person help out the Schism and this and that, other little wacky segments that they do. And we knew that today was going to be the day that they were going to reveal this member. I didn't even care. I was just thinking, oh, it's going to be somebody. I don't know who, but just somebody, right? Like I didn't really care. So then, so this starts off and I'm thinking, oh God. So they're going on, they're talking about togetherness. They're talking about their mission statement. Gacy's talking about how there's people out there that look like they have everything, but that deep down they're unhappy. And I finally get what the Joe Gacy Schism promos remind me of. Do you guys remember being in high school? I'm going to paint you a picture. Being in high school, sophomore year, and you're in your class. You're in a subject you don't care about. Maybe it's English, maybe it's history, and your teacher's going on and on about something that you didn't even pay attention to. That is exactly what this reminds me of. You're just hearing a bunch of fancy words and you're like, I don't know what's happening. This reminded me of one of my teachers who would, when unfortunately, the first time one of my teachers that would talk about the books that I didn't care for, this is exactly what it reminds me of. So whatever. Moving on from this, I went off on a tangent. All right, so after this, we're finally going to get the reveal. And so they take off their mask and bam, it's Simone Johnson. And the first thing that I thought when she took off her mask was, oh shit, there's a good chance The Rock is watching NXT right now. Okay, that was the first thing that came into my mind. Oh shit, The Rock may be watching NXT as at this moment, because this was her NXT debut, and she basically said, I have her quote here of what she said. Oh God, where's her quote at? Ah, damn it. 1 second. I tweeted it out, but I didn't actually put it on my notes. I knew I had it here somewhere. 1 second. All right, so she says, quote, the love and acceptance the schism has given me defies any preconceived notions of who I'm supposed to be. This family completes me. I'm Ava Rain. So basically the whole gist of this, from what I gather, is that the schism is not expecting for her to be, to be at a certain, there, we know her as The Rock's daughter. We know her as The Rock's daughter. So basically, they're accepting her as not The Rock's daughter, but who she is without being The Rock's daughter, like being separate of The Rock, as in just her by herself, Ava Rain. So she says, I found a new family now, and they all hug. This is unexpected, in my opinion. It's unexpected. I don't think that I thought that she would be making her debut as part of this group, because this group has been very out there. It's been probably one of the least liked things on NXT across the board. A lot of people have just not got it on board with the schism, with Joe Gacy stuff. There's just been a lot of people that just don't like this. And for the most part, this has been something that overall, the general consensus is this is not something that people are a fan of, but they keep doing it and they keep pushing it, right? Okay, fine. So bringing in Simone Johnson into this group, it's definitely an odd pairing, and it's an interesting one too, because I'm curious as to why specifically put her in there with the schism. It makes me wonder, like, what can we, because I haven't seen anything from Simone yet. Like, I haven't, besides what we saw here today. So I'm curious to see what in her personality, what in her set of skills basically said this is going to be the right pairing for her, or at least in their eyes, the right pairing for her. Why specifically? So I'm curious about that. And for the most part, I thought she did perfectly fine tonight. She had a very simple, like 3 lines, so it wasn't really that much, but she looked excited. Her makeup looked phenomenal, by the way, throwing that out. So I'm kind of excited to see what she does, because again, it's such an odd couple pairing to pair her up with them. And also the schism has been kind of dying a little bit of a slow death. So I feel adding Ava Rain to this could be the thing that maybe this could either be really bad or it can actually work, or maybe work to their favor, or work as much as it can possibly work, right? So I'm more interested in the schism now with Ava Rain part of it than I was before. So you've got my attention. Mission accomplished. Let's see what people are saying about this. Thank you so much to Abhinav for sending in a super chat. They say Ava's not only going to be the leader of the schism, she'll be the ruler of the schism. So that's going to be interesting too, to see how that all plays out with her role and Joe Gacy's role and all of that. I mean, I'm assuming it's going to be something where it's like, I don't even know actually, because I half understand the schism. All right. Like every week, I think I get it. And then the next week, I'm like, oh, it's something different. I swear to God, it's always something different. But I appreciate the creativity I appreciate the creativity that goes into everything that they've done with the schism. So there you go. Ava Raine is officially on NXT. Man, all right, let's see what else we got here. Let's see what we got. This is from Clinton Shea, who says, this is perfect for her. Start as a heel with 3 good workers and promos. Better than a Here's Rock Daughter's rookie gimmick. Look, you know what? I can't disagree. You know, she'll have people like around her too, which is good. She'll be surrounded by good people, clearly. So that's something of a positive for sure. Let's see what else we got here. This is from Christopher, who says, I could see them putting her with them to give her some experience, and she goes to the main roster as part of the bloodline. I've been seeing a lot of people write something similar to that as well. This is from Easy99, who says, people buried it on Twitter. This is the end of the Ava Raine. People buried it on Twitter that this is the end of Ava Raine's career. She's a new addition to the roster. Give her time to adapt to NXT before the breakup. The Rock debut also in a faction before going to his solo run. So, I mean, this is the thing, like, it's unexpected, but I feel that's all it is. Like, I'm not going to be like, oh, Ava Raine's career's over just because she joined the schism. Like, no. It's just rather odd that was the way that they decided to debut her. Right? Like, that's it. But it got me intrigued because I'm like, why'd they do it? I want to find out. What is the end game here? That's it. They got me. They hooked me in. What is the end game? I don't know. I'm going to find out. You know what? Like, I'll take anything at this point. I'll take this because now I have more of an interest in the schism than I did before. So I'm going to take this as a good thing, as a positive, as much as I possibly can. Much as I possibly can. Abhinav says, I got Nation of Domination vibes from Ava and the schism. I don't know about that really. If I would say, like, if I would compare them, I don't think I can compare them, but I get what you mean. Thank you regardless for the super chat. Seriously, I really appreciate that. Zeno Hour says, Denise, if you were to join one of your favorite NXT factions, which one would you choose, Chase U or the schism? Oh, definitely the schism. The schism all the way, because at least with the schism, I could wear black clothes and be like, ha 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 ha. With Chase U, I just gotta be like a really like not so great actress. And I'm gonna be like, yeah, Chase U, woo. You know, like that would just be unbearable. At least with the schism, I could just be like super gothic, you know? I'm good with that. All right, let's move on from here. All right, so after this, this was the second portion of NXT that I didn't like, and this was the Indy Hartwell Soruka match. This was very, very, not even noteworthy whatsoever, man. This was just, Indy got a couple of clotheslines in. She hit Soruka in the back, got the win. That was it. This was a nothing match. At least Indy Hartwell got a win. That's good. But it was a very short match and nothing really major happened in terms of standing out. Nothing. So I'm sorry I don't have anything else to add to that. Oh yes, actually, I forgot. This was the big thing. Aside from the match, clearly, we got a post-match angle after Indy Hartwell was celebrating. She was attacked from behind. She was attacked from behind by Elektra Lopez. Elektra Lopez is officially back. So the whole gist with her was she was part of Legado del Fantasma. All her guys got moved up to the main roster. Unfortunately, they didn't move her up with them because they had Zelina Vega, who ended up replacing her in the role that Elektra Lopez was doing. Now, Zelina Vega is doing so far a pretty great job in that role. She's been in a similar role before, so it made sense for them in terms of trusting her with that position on the main roster and also giving Zelina Vega some sort of purpose on the roster. So it makes perfect sense as to why they have Zelina Vega in that role. But it does suck for Elektra Lopez because she was obviously, that was her thing. That was her thing on NXT. And now she's got to find a new thing. She's still saying, and she's still doing she looks like she's still doing the same character that she was before, but clearly she's going to have to, maybe switch things up a little bit. So I do kind of feel bad for her because at the end of the day, it must suck to see, the group. If I was a part of a group and everybody got called up and I didn't, you bet your ass I'd be kind of depressed about it, but at the same time, it gives her now an opportunity to try something totally different, something new. So we'll see what she does, riding solo on NXT. Alrighty. Yeah, we got more people saying, Electra Lopez not being with Legado del Fantasma is sad. Yeah, because she did a fine job, honestly. And I'm sure if she would have been given the opportunity to go to the main roster, I'm sure she would have done a fine job there too. It's just a matter of maybe giving somebody a chance. But, things don't always work out like that. So I do hope that she ends up finding something to do, or something, not something to do, but something that works for her on NXT. All right, guys, but here we go. This is the last portion of the show we need to talk about, and this is the main event of the night, and this was a damn good one. This was Ilya Dragunov versus JD McDonough. Obviously, they're not at 100%. They just had a bomb main event on Halloween Havoc. That match, that triple threat match with Braun Breaker, JD, and Ilya was great stuff, man. I put that over so much. It even made my top favorite moment of the week for the After the Week podcast. I mean, I loved it, okay? So going into this match, at first I was like, it's too soon. I want to see them go at it when they're both at 100% because, they were clearly going at it, but not in a way where, meant they're, telling the story that, hey, man, they just went through war and here they are again battling it out, that sort of thing. This was an aggressive, hard freaking hitting match, but what I want to talk about is the ending of this match, because the ending of this match, we saw JD McDonough literally make Ilya Dragunov pass out as he's literally locking him in, and there's this crazy visual that we need to talk about, because as JD has his arms wrapped around his head and a little bit of his throat, or he had his throat in the beginning and then it kind of morphed into his head. Ilya Dragunov is like busted open, I think from the mouth or something. You can't even really tell, but he's busted open. And then, so he finally passes out. But JD McDonough isn't letting go. He isn't letting go at all. And Vic Joseph literally had a great reaction to this. So I do want to shout out Vic Joseph, because he had the, what did he say? He was like, "You son of a bitch, let him go." Oh, it was so good. I was like, yes, this is exactly the kind of reaction we need in a moment like this, because JD McDonough was being a freaking savage and wouldn't let go of Ilya Dragunov, and Ilya Dragunov is freaking bleeding out from his goddamn face. I don't even know where he was bleeding from. And JD McDonough like doesn't care, right? So finally they're able to get him off of Ilya. Ilya's like done. He's out. They end up stretchering him out. And so it was a very, very aggressive way to end the show, a very gruesome way. I loved it. The visual was phenomenal. But I will say this, it's got me thinking, and or maybe it's just wishful thinking. I think this is wishful thinking, but I don't want to see, I want this to be kind of Ilya's goodbye on NXT. I kind of just want to see Ilya like gone for a bit and then bam, he's on the main roster. I'm sorry. That's kind of what I mean, obviously, here's the thing. Like, I just want to see Ilya in the main roster so much that I don't care that it's almost like he doesn't have this, like he doesn't finish his business with JD McDonough. But like, I'd be okay with that. Because I just want to see him on the main roster. So part of me wonders if this was it for Ilya on NXT. Part of me wonders. But then the other part of me is like, nah, he's going to come back. He's going to continue feuding with JD McDonough and they can have this whole program and it's going to be great. So that's kind of where I'm at with all of this. Either way, Ilya and JD McDonough are really the thing that's got me tuning in to NXT every week. Like, I finally feel I have something, someone, some story to, keep tuning in for every week. So that is the thing that's keeping me it's keeping me going, you know? If I wasn't reviewing this show, I would tune in specifically for them, right? That's how I want to describe this. So let's see what we got. Clinton Shea says squeezing his head like grapes. Bro, for reals. Ed Jones says morphed into his head. I didn't know how else to describe it, guys. I was just trying to paint you my visuals of all of this. Here we go. You know, so Zeno Hour says Big Joseph went full JR. Yeah, it was good stuff. Christopher Smith says JD's so good when he shows that violent side to him, just like he did in the UK indie scene. People putting over that McDonough looked really great tonight, and he did. I already talked about scripts earlier, guys. I talked about scripts earlier in the day. I don't know if you guys might have missed it, but I talked about scripts already for everybody who's saying that I didn't. I did talk about scripts. All right. So there you go, guys. That was NXT for today, October 25th. I will be back tomorrow for AEW Dynamite and Friday for Smackdown and Rampage. Please make sure to subscribe to this channel. And also, if you haven't already, head on over to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Denise Salcedo, or you can just type in at Denise Salcedo, because YouTube has handles now, by the way. I don't know if you guys know this, but you can, just like Twitter handles and Instagram handles, YouTube has those now. And I'm pretty sure mine is at Denise Salcedo. So if you go there, please subscribe. I just hit 72,000 subscribers on there. I also just dropped some new interviews, so go check those out. If you are a fan of NXT, you might want to check out my interview with Apollo Crews. There's just a lot going on there, so please make sure you click that subscribe button. But if not, I will see you back here tomorrow night for AEW Dynamite conversation. Bye, everyone. Have an awesome day.